and thank you very much for having me here today. It's unfortunate my daughter Carly can't be here, but I guess more fortunate for her. She's a junior at Canisius College, and she's currently over in Australia. She's telling me she's studying over there. I call it beer, beach, and boys, but I'm not really sure. As long as the grades come home okay, we'll be fine. Just to give a little bit of a talk, and as Mary Ellis mentioned, a bit of an update in some of my opinions on breast cancer, especially male breast cancer. This disease affects all of us. It affects men, it affects women, it affects our families, and it affects our friends. While my wife Kelly has succumbed to this disease just over 2 years ago now, I believe I have the strength and the will and the guts to fight this thing and to win. It is, in my opinion, as mentioned in the story a few minutes ago, that we hear way too much about the bad side of this disease, the losses I call them, and not nearly enough about the wins. There are so many, and especially in the last 5 years going through this with my wife and now with me, there are so many people out there that I have met, both men who are here today and women who I see every day, especially when I'm in that breast clinic, unfortunately sometimes more than once a month, that are winners. They go through the treatments, they go through the surgeries, they go through the pain and suffering. But you know what? They win. They win it, and they live and they lead normal lives. And that's what it's all about, and that's what I believe part of what the Komen Foundation is all about, and I want to be part of. The most recent American Cancer Society statistics from 2010 tell us that last year 1,970 men were diagnosed with one form or another of breast cancer. When I say form or another, a stage. Of that, we lost 390 of them. It's a big number in my book. Breast cancer is about 100 times less common among men than it is among women. For men, the lifetime risk of getting breast cancer is about 1 in 1,000. The number of breast cancer cases in men are relative to the population, and it really has been stable now for over 30 years. A good thing. I, Mike Story, have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So what's that mean? It means that I am in the most advanced stage of breast cancer right now. Right now, there's not a cure. I hope and pray for remission, for a long, long remission. I really hope that we have advances. We have advances in research. We have advances in the trials that a lot of us, including myself, partake in. I currently am partaking in 2 different trials at Roswell. And I hope and I pray for new medicines. All of that can be made possible through us and the Komen Foundation. You know, there's something funny about my breast cancer. I'm a true believer that if you can't get a little humor out of some tragedy, you don't belong in the game. I really mean that sincerely. And as I was starting to go through my own personal journey about 1 year and 4 months ago, I was learning a lot, and I was learning what they call the most common symptoms of metastatic breast cancer in both men and women, and how a lot of times before a self-exam or a doctor's exam, these conditions might prompt you to go to the doctor or call a doctor, right? I just run by a couple of them because I actually found comedy in them. One of the big ones was having bone pain. I had none. Shortness of breath, nope. Lack of appetite, not me. Weight loss, I actually gained 22 pounds the year before. Also neurological pain and headaches and weaknesses. I had none of that. So, you know, it just goes to think you could be living with something as terrible as this and not have a clue. I happened, as the story mentioned, find a lump in my chest right underneath my right nipple. That was just over 1 year and 4 months ago. And here I stand today. I feel great. Hate the treatments. We all do. And yes, breast cancer has a history in my family. It's from my dad's side. We lost a couple aunts, my dad's aunts to it. But I wasn't smart enough to realize, even with my wife going through what she went through and losing her, and knowing what happened on my dad's side of the family, that why couldn't me or my brothers come down with this thing? Never once thought of it. And that's part of where, if I can help out or we can reach out, we need to do. So there is detection, and we are checked, and see if, unfortunately, we may become one of those 2,000 in 2011 that may come down with this bad disease. So if all of you have just seen, and my daughter Carly, and myself from the recent piece that Jody did for us, we have a new mission in the Story House, and it's to get involved. And to get involved not only with Roswell Park, which I am trying to play a small role in, but also with the Susan G. Komen Foundation here in Western New York. My daughter Carly, as mentioned, has chaired and captained a team for the Story family the last 2 years. Has done an awesome job. She wanted to do it all herself, and she did. She said, "Dad, you stay home and run the party." And through her efforts and her friends' efforts and our family and our friends, we've been able to get about 80 plus people on our team every year to run. They've organized and got t-shirts made, their own t-shirts, and raised every year a couple $1,000s that goes to Komen. And my Carly is very, very proud of that. Another thing that she's very, very proud of this year is because while she's over doing beach beer and boys in Australia, her good girlfriend, Aileen Casey, who is with me here today. Aileen, please stand up for a second. Aileen is a dear friend of Carly's and of mine and our family. She's a junior this year at Narden Academy and has offered and has taken full charge to captain our team this year in the Susan Komen race. Thanks, Aileen. So many people in the past year and a half have asked Carly and I why. Why would we want to get involved, especially with what has happened with my wife, with her passing, and what I am currently dealing with? And I have to be truthful. It wasn't me. It was Carly. Early on, when word spread about me and my breast cancer, many opportunities presented themselves to us to share our story. I turned them all down. At the time, it really wasn't my focus, and it wasn't where I felt I needed to be for me or my family or my friends. Well, that didn't really last long. Carly challenged me. One day after she came home from school and I was in the kitchen working on my computer, or pretending I was working on my computer, as my friend Evan would say, she said, "Dad, I need to talk to you." And I said, "What's up?" And I think that morning, the morning before, I really don't recall, we had a call from one of the stations or the papers or somebody asking us if we would do something, and I turned it down again. I said, "No, thank you." She said, "You have to do something, Dad." She says, "You have the personality, you have the power, and you have the strength to help others, Dad. You need to talk about how important it is for screening, education, and early detection. Komen core competencies." She said to me also what really hit a nerve: "Please don't make other families out there go through what we have and what we are currently going through. Dad, we need you to tell them and try and make a difference. And if that is only for one family out there, Dad, it's made a big difference." So, when a good friend of mine, Althea Larson, called me a couple of months ago and said, "Mike, I'd like to ask you if you would speak at the Komen Kickoff Luncheon," I accepted with no hesitation. Thank you, Althea. The importance of the Komen Foundation and the work that